Welcome to the Australian Championship.
Shot up the post and in. Continue to make history.
This rivalry emerged as bright as ever.
That is just spectacular. It's incredible. Fairy tale.
It's an all-Victorian showdown at Avenger Park on match day 6 of the Australian Championship. And for one of these sides, their survival in the competition depends on the result this afternoon. Preston have lost only one game in the group stage, but after 3 stalemates, only a win will ensure their progress to a blockbuster quarter-final against old rivals South Melbourne at Lakeside next week. This new-look Avondale side have made it look easy so far, unbeaten with 3 wins from 5 and sitting pretty atop Group C. The result for them is immaterial this afternoon and serves only as a tune-up for Moreton City Excelsior, who they'll host here in a home quarter-final next week. But after a fiercely contested 0-0 away at BT Connor Reserve that saw Matt Reid given his marching orders in stoppage time, Avondale will no doubt want to topple their local rivals for the bragging rights alone. It's do or die for the Preston Lions to kick off Super Saturday. Let's check in on the sideline with our man at Avenger Park, Nick Dabano.
Yes, Josh and Scott, Melbourne has absolutely turned it on for this blockbuster matchday 6 clash. The sun is out, the crowd is starting to pour in here at Avenger Park. The equation, it's simple for Preston. Win and you're in, anything other than that, and it's a very nervous 24 hours ahead for Avondale. A nice little tune-up for them ahead of next weekend's quarterfinal back here at this very venue. But for those at home, you have the chance to let us know how you think today's game is going to go. Scan the QR code below and let us know who you think is going to come away with the win today. Back to you, Josh.
Well, to the team news, and despite having already qualified in top spot, Jonathan Germano doesn't tinker too much with a winning formula. There's 2 changes for the home side. After Aiden Bryce, the captain, pulled up with an apparent hamstring injury early in the second half, he's replaced by young defender Massimo D'Argenio. Hite Towns starts on the bench. In comes Zachary Cianci for his first start, rewarded for his electric displays off the pine throughout the group stage. And Sion Cuba will likely move into the midfield 3, leaving Avondale without a recognised holding midfielder. Here come the teams. Avondale in the all blue, Preston in the all red. Man on your screen, Bruno Fornaroli, has been an instant hit in the Australian Championship with 4 goals already to his name. The Avengers music belting out across the Reggio Calabria club this afternoon. There's the lineup. Massimo D'Argenio, the new boy, into the heart of defence. Big shoes to fill with Aiden Bryce out with that hamstring injury. And it's a very attacking midfield lineup. So Hite Towns, the 200 gamer, the longest serving player, on the bench today. He's been rested. Christian Trycheski will have to fulfil extra defensive responsibilities. And here's the lineup for Preston. Injury and illness striking their camp of late. Lujatsevski forced him to name just 4 players on his bench. There's 4 changes from the side that drew a blank against Canberra, Croatia, with Gian Albano dropping to the pine. Jake Tchaikovsky away on holiday in the USA. Dom Foligno coming down with illness, and Leighton Brooks in hospital with appendicitis. In comes Damian Bozanovski to partner his brother Matt in the heart of defence. Marcus Schroen into midfield, and Jonas Markovski and Connor Bell into the attack. Well, after celebrating his 300th game as a head coach and 9 seasons in the Preston dugout, Lujatsevski will hang up his whistle at the conclusion of the Australian Championship, passing the torch to his close friend, former Avondale boss, Zoran Markovski. Under Asevski's leadership, Preston have been promoted 3 times, winning 2 championships and rising from the doldrums of the state leagues back to the summit of Victorian football. Let's hear from the man himself who caught up earlier with Nick Tabano.
Yeah, look, it's been a fantastic roller coaster ride. As we said from day dot, when I first came into the role, our aim was to get the club back into top leagues of Victorian football. We've done that, we've achieved that, and we're in top leagues of Australian football now as well, which is a bonus. It's been a great journey for me personally. It's something that I wanted to put back into the community, back to the club that I love, that I spent a lot of time as a footballer, as a supporter. And look, it's whatever that journey ends, if that's today or is that next week or the week after, I'd love to finish it with a trophy in my hands for the club's perspective. But look, again, it's been so great to be part of this journey, and I know the club will keep kicking goals and moving forward in the future.
Well, you won't find a more passionate Preston man than Louis Atsevsky, who played for the club. He supported the club all his life. He's coached the club for 9 seasons. And now he will move upstairs into a football director role with Zoran Markovski assuming the head coaching role next season. There's Declan Woods, who is our referee today. Ben Lupilio and Luke Genematis running the touch lines. Puya Gadirian is the 4th official. Just about ready to kick off, and it looks like a rehearsed routine from the Avengers to start. Avondale kicking from right to left in the all blue. It's a nervy afternoon for a threadbare Preston today as we're away at Avenger Park. Tevere straight into the action for Avondale. So he charges down the left flank. Early chance for the home side. Misses everybody in the box. Cuba. Fornaroli. Tevere. Hacked clear. Early work to do for Dargenio. My name is Josh Parrish. Delighted to be joined, as always, on commentary this afternoon with former Socceroo Scott McDonald. Scott, lots on the line. It's crunch time on match day 6.
Yes, good afternoon, Josh. This is a very exciting contest, one that is massive to Louis Atsevsky's Preston side, more or less needing a win to secure that knockout stages that they fully desire. A draw will make it a very, very nervous weekend for them. Injury depleted, you have to say, as well, so it'll be interesting to see how they cope today as well, particularly as the game gets on and they don't have those changes to go to the bench to, how they survive, if they can stick to it and maybe get an early lead or stay in this game. As we know, Avondale full of attacking intent, very, very wonderful to watch in this tournament so far, and none more so than Bruno Fornaroli, who we've seen involved already, coming to the edge of the box, trying to play balls around the corner with one touch, and he will be one that we certainly have to keep an eye on today.
Cuba. Tevere. Throwing out muscled. No whistle from the referee. Tracheski. He too was pushed off it. Preston throw. When we mentioned the injuries and absentees, 7 players out. Luke Jego and Luke Francis both injured away at Spirit a couple of weeks ago. Jego's a really serious leg break. Adisu Bayu going as well as the players I mentioned before. Leighton Brooks getting his appendix out. Have you ever been in a situation through your career, Scott, where you've had such a raft of injuries or illnesses swept through the camp? What kind of effect does it have on the mentality of the players that do make it out there?
Yeah, look, I think being a player is a little bit different than being the coach. I think there's certainly a lot more stress and worry with that. I think as a player, you've just got to get on with it. If you are fit and ready to go, it's an opportunity for you as well. So this is certainly an opportunity for some of this Preston side. Albeit it hasn't affected the starting lineup all too much, you have to say. Yes, there's some key players that are missing for them, as we see an attack here from Avondale. The ball goes out for a goal kick for Preston there. But look, yeah, from a Preston Lions perspective as a player, you just got to get your head down and grind it out. And sometimes this can galvanise you as a squad. When you're down to the bare bones and you can get a result, particularly at this late on in this competition, to get you through to the next stage, it could be just the making of you.
Well, it's a big afternoon for Damian Bozanovski. His only start came in that disastrous 3-2 defeat away at Canberra, Croatia. And by all accounts, he was in danger of missing this one as well. Bedridden with illness earlier in the week, but got up for the game in time. Half a shout for a penalty. More from fans than players, and Zach Giarci has no complaints.
Nice little ball through from Cuba there. Yeah, not enough in it. He gets straight back up, Giarci. Great opportunity for him today, coming into the starting lineup.
Interestingly, Preston had a similarly threadbare squad the last time they came to visit Avenger Park early in the NPL Victoria season. Came in with a raft of absentees and then had 2 injuries in the first half. Ended up equalising through Connor Bell early in the second, but went down to a 3-1 defeat. Previous meetings of late have been draws. Preston led for so long at home to Avondale in the NPL season, but a last-minute equaliser from the now-departed Kalalu Kamara. Centre-back scoring from outside the box. Thwarted Preston on that occasion, and then, as we saw in round 3, a scoreless draw that had all the drama, but none of the end product. Ball in towards Fornaroli. Preston aghast at the decision to award the corner.
Yeah, Loughton just being a bit sloppy on the ball. Abdullah stealing it off him. And with that wonderful left foot, delivers a fantastic cross. The argument is there that it's come off Fornaroli last. So have to see that again from a different angle.
Set piece chance for the Avengers. Christian Trajewski to swing it in with his right. It's a low delivery and it misses everybody. Jason Romero sweeping up. Connor Bell ahead of him. Bell looks for the switch of play. It's a great ball to pick out Giorgio Serdenis on the right. He's around Carpenter. Serdenis into the middle and turned behind for a Preston corner, end to end in the blink of an eye for the Preston Lions.
Yeah, how many times do we see that one team having a corner, then straight away in the transition moment get caught out? Wonderful play there, Connor Bell picking it up in his own half, lovely little diag there. And you have to say it was a wonderful ball across as well from Sardinas, but it was defended just as well also.
Serdenis moving into a wide role today. He's been starting up top recently, had Preston's best moments of their scoreless draw against Canberra, Croatia last week. Had an overhead kick narrowly flash wide and then a spectacular volley tipped over by Sebastian Arantz, but he's still waiting for his first goal in this competition. Romero to the back post, and it's catching practice for Tom Manos. Bozanovski so often the target offset pieces. His brother Damien up there with him today as well, who's no slouch in that regard. Scored a few goals for Melbourne Victory's academy side during the season before joining Preston. Schroen. On diag to find Serdenis. He's getting plenty of service so far. Difficult to shake off Carpenter, but he whips it in. It's a magnificent ball, and it was chaos in the 6-yard box for a moment. Romero barreling in there. D'Argenio in danger of turning it into his own net.
Wonderful play from Sardinas there. You just thought that Carpenter had done enough to that point. Looking for a pass, but then managed to wiggle his way through there, and D'Argenio was caught sleeping, you have to say. Very, very fortunate in the end. It didn't land to a Preston player in that 6-yard box.
Dalla will go at Lawton, but this time Brandon Lawton holds his ground. Chance for Preston on the counter-attack again. Romero to pick the eye of a needle. He's found Connor Bell. And Tom Manos pounces. Bell just couldn't quite reel it in.
A great first touch there from Connor Bell. Wonderful run across the line as well. Coming from that left into the centre of the pitch there. In behind the centre backs. Like you said, first touch was an excellent one, but just too far and allowed Manos to get there in the end. And sweeping well for his team.
He's really good at that, Tom Manos. He's so proactive coming off his line, and he identifies those little moments where the ball runs away from an attacking player running through on goal. He did the same thing away to Preston when he denied Adisu Bayu a one-on-one chance. Fornaroli winning the battle of wits with Bozanovski and winning a corner.
Bruno once again using his body ever so well. He does it ever so well for, I keep saying it, for any young centre forwards out there watching this game. It's so key to watch someone of his experience and how he uses his body and utilises it against the bigger physical man. Makes it very awkward for the bigger fella.
A shot there of the Preston dugout. Sasha Ognanovsky, former Socceroo and Asian Player of the Year among the Brains Trust there. And a picture of tension at the moment as Blake Carpenter sizes up this corner. It's going to be straight onto Ryan Scott, but Matt Bozanovski got in his way. No harm, no foul in the end. Romero up the line for Sir Dennis. It's Trajewski, he's been caught back defending. Did he get a piece of Sir Dennis there? Instead, Connor Bell, who's lost his boot. And he's penalised. And Avondale took it quickly.
Yeah, they took it quickly there, Josh, but almost got themselves in trouble. It was a bit short for Manos. There was a bit of panic there, as we just seen it off camera.
I was wondering whether the ref was going to allow that. It was a long way from where the free kick was given, but nearly backfired for Avondale, as you say. Carpenter. Beautiful ball with the outside of his left. Gives Abdullah a lot to do, though.
Just a little bit too heavy in the end for Abdullah. We've seen Carpenter in this game a little bit different from the one that we've seen a couple of weeks ago against Canberra, Croatia. Sort of staying a little bit wider in the build-up for Avondale. Not coming in and inverting as he did do on that day, on that occasion. Without Towns in the team as well, it will be really interesting. Obviously, Trajewski's got a bit more of a responsibility there to play in that 6th role. Cuba has gone in behind rather than playing out wide. And Cianci does get his opportunity. But it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out as well. And obviously the loss of Bryce today, their captain and their leader at the back. Big jobs now for Dargenio and also Reed, who have been tested already on a couple of occasions.
Negro, great footwork from him, but it's turned over straight away. Abdullah invited to shoot. Abdullah, a whisker wide.
Well, you don't want to be giving a man like that space and time from 20-odd yards out. As you can see, I think we thought for a moment there it was going to bristle the net. So did Ryan Scott. He was planted. And Preston get away with one there, just a little bit sloppy in possession there. Losing it in that mid-third. And Avondale pouncing.
There was a big roar from the away fans as Stefan Negro, I think, nutmegged his man, but the pass didn't match the dribble. And as you say, everybody froze, including Ryan Scott, who was well beaten. That's Amir Abdullah's bread and butter. He's so lethal from outside the box on most occasions. Put it into touch by Dargenio. In a way, the team selection from Jonathan Germano is a vote of confidence in Dargenio because he hasn't selected a defensive midfielder to shield the back four. Albeit the result is immaterial for Avondale today. Doesn't mean the competitive juices don't get flowing as soon as you get on the pitch. Cuba with space and time. Abdallah stepping in field. Abdallah for Cuba. Fornaroli couldn't get there ahead of Bozanovsky. It's going to be a Preston goal kick.
Whenever they get it around that final third, they're looking to try and be intricate and clever and try and get those 1-2s in and around the box. Again, it's really interesting that we see, you mentioned it before in the commentary in the previous game for Avondale, and Abdallah playing on that left-hand side where we normally see him in that Victorian NPL playing off, you know, off the right and cutting in with that left foot and being so dangerous, you know, for his team in possession. You just wonder if he has the same effects. We haven't seen as many goals from him in this competition as well, and perhaps maybe that's why.
It's been a pretty useful playmaker, though. And
absolutely, the argument point there, and you were just about to say it. And I know what you're going to say, Josh. It's, well, they haven't failed to score goals, have they, Avondale? They've scored a plenty so far.
The only team they haven't scored against is Preston. Bruno Fornaroli was kept pretty quiet that night, came off early. Probably his worst game in an Avondale shirt. It was all to do with the lack of service he was getting as Preston sat in and defended for long periods at BT Connor Reserve. Wellsmore. The Kiwi skips in field. Fornaroli dispossessed, and then Sherwin has a few words to say afterwards. Kubalay. So Dennis has the beating of Carpenter, and then he's brought down, and that could be the game's first booking. Certainly what Preston are asking for.
Well, there did seem to be a tug of the shirt there, and it's an interesting one. And why referees at times, we're 15 minutes into the game, give players more opportunities to make fouls that are pretty blatantly ones where he's got him behind him there and he took a tug of the shirt. Yeah, he's gone down quite easily, and maybe that sort of made the decision for the referee that there's not much of a tug. You know, but it's still enough to suggest the foul and give the foul. And Carpenter probably is lucky not to get a booking there, and he gets another go at Sardenes, who started really, really brightly.
Plenty of headway down this right flank so far, Preston. Romero over the free kick. We need to aim for. Jonas Markowski standing in an offside position to start with. It's a back post ball for Bozanovsky. And Lawton couldn't latch onto the second ball. Important challenge for Negro here, and he wins it. Negro deputising at left back today. So often for Melbourne victory over the years. Schroen's ball in as well, dealt with by Massimo D'Argenio.
It's a really good ball in, actually, and D'Argenio does excellent to actually deal with that, because it's from a difficult angle as well, to get his head on it and get it back to where it came from here.
It's a nice shape on it from Schroen.
They're not always easy ones to deal with as a defender.
Negro. Heavy one for Bell, and he couldn't keep it in. Confusion over the restart here. Declan Woods laying down the law. And then Matt Reid's going to leave it, and Tom Mattis will take it. Matt Reid wearing the armband today in the absence of Aidan Bryce. Bell. Schroen. Great use of the body by Fornaroli again. Picked away by Bozanovsky. Negro. Bell had a swing at it. Wellsmore takes over. Avondale finished the season as the Victorian premiers, but not champions. They were outdone here in the semi-final against Dandenong City. Still a magnificent year. Real threats to contend for this Australian Championship. Gianchi, Bell winning it back, Negro. Romero rides one challenge and skips away. Markovsky looking for Bell and gave him too much to do. And Bell could only slide in and take out Dargenio, who's then inflicted friendly fire on Manos, and it's a domino effect in the box.
Yeah. Again, Preston do ever so well in tight areas in that defensive third to get out of trouble. Negro, lovely little ball into Romero. Romero jinking his way through trouble, and then the counter-attack becomes imminent from there with Markovsky on the edge of the box there. And in the end, you have to say it's well defended from Dargenio, who's been asked upon on a few occasions already today, and he's come up trumps.
Let's check in on the sideline with Nick DeBano. How's the mood down there, Nick?
Yes, Josh and Scott, thank you very much. It is quite tense out here at the moment, particularly the Preston bench right now, really bringing in lots of words of encouragement. They sense the urgency of this game, of course, want to leave nothing to chance. They know that, as mentioned at the top, a win is enough to get them through to the quarterfinals. But it's a fantastic atmosphere here at the moment, a good crowd that's pulled into Avenger Park, and it's great to see that the rain has held off too.
Thank you, Nick. Romero with a free kick. Referee will pay advantage instead. Maybe Preston would have preferred the whistle. Bozanovsky put it out of play. He's been trodden on by Trajewski. Bit of a clumsy challenge from a player who's not used to marshalling things at the base of midfield.
Yeah, it was. I just think that the referee there just wanted to play on, get the play going still. Not this time, no.
And now Ollie Kubalay has found himself in Declan Woods' bad books. They won't be able to play on here, though. Another look at that challenge. Like a frustration foul to me, Scott.
Yeah, look, I think Preston have worked so well off the ball so far. It's definitely a foul. You can't, as much as they want to argue that one there, he's a little bit late, isn't he, with his contact, and not a lot of the ball taken with it. And so far, that block, and then getting up like they are now, Preston, as a unit, has worked so well for them at the moment. And again, the likes of Abdallah and Fornaroli have been starved, and it's been more balls like this.
Tevere, very well done. And now Chianchi goes to work against Lawton. Chianchi lost his footing for a moment. Wasn't calling for a free kick. A penalty would have been. Carpenter with options to aim for, but the angle was too tight, and Lawton sends it behind for another corner.
Really well taken down, wasn't it, from Tevere there? You have to say, was a little bit of a hopeful ball, brought it down, and then again, some really good intricate play. They are enjoyable to watch when they get in that final third, Avondale. They've always got you on your toes, asking questions of that defence.
It's an overcooked ball to the back stick and a waste for Avondale. Regardless of the result today, what a legacy Louis Otsevsky leaves at Preston. after awakening the sleeping giant of Victorian football, leading them back to the promised land. 9 consecutive seasons in the dugout is no mean feat, Scott.
No, it's not. Yeah, I'm surprised. He's still got a bit of hair as well. A few greys. But, yeah, he's done a magnificent job in what has and always will be a historic club in Victoria. Growing up myself there.
This is Romero looking for Bell! He was sliding at full stretch and couldn't get clean purchase on it.
I think it ended up going out for a throw-in the end. He just couldn't get there. It was a wonderful weighted pass. And it just sat up a little bit too much for Connor Bell there. Romero there, just trying to pick his man out. In the end, just too much pace on it. And Sardina's just behind him, sort of saying, leave it to me, but...
I think you saw the motion there from
Exactly,
Bell. You've got to give me a shout if you want me to leave it. Schrowen's turned it over under pressure from Cuba. As Bozanovsky showing his studs. Referee thought about it for a long time. And the whistle does go. Now Cuba is clutching his head.
You see the replay on this one again. First thoughts though there, Josh, is 100% a foul. When you go with your leg that high, 99 times out of 100, the referee's going to give a foul. He took his time with it though, and that sort of led to the little bit of a melee, I think, rather than sort of making that decision instantly. It took time to think about it.
Bozanovsky is the first into the book. Matt Bozanovsky, that is, the elder brother.
Again, a little bit sloppy from Schrowen there in the middle of the pitch, wasn't it? To lose the possession in the first place, got them into a bit of trouble. See the replay here. Not conclusive from that angle, potentially here.
Both players have got their feet raised high. I think it's actually the hip.
Yeah,
it's not he doesn't connect with his studs.
Definitely not the boot that contacts him. It's more that side of the, yeah.
Yeah, and it's his shoulder and a bit of whiplash on the head as well as he hits the ground.
Yeah.
So you can see Bozanovsky's point. He did play the ball, albeit in a rather risky manner, but it's the follow-through that's cost Cuba.
Yeah. I think Cuba gets there first, doesn't he? Nicks the ball, and then the contact's made. So regardless, I think probably yellow card is probably the right decision in the end, stopping the attack from happening. But as always, if you're a Preston side of things, you're asking why has Carpenter not been booked for the one earlier on as well. So they're always, it's always contentious for the referee in terms of his decision making at times. But certainly his head should be fine.
Should be okay. I mean, if he's hit it on the ground is the only concern. Here he is again. Yeah, and it's just the hip. Suggesting a bit of theatrics, Scotty.
Less said the better. I think it's there for us to see. It is a hard one though.
Chance for Avondale to have a crack from range. Cuba's back out there already, so he's okay to continue. It's a straight run up from Carpenter. Carpenter strikes for goal. Well, it had Ryan Scott scrambling across his goal line, but well wide of the mark.
It certainly had some dip on it, didn't it, to worry Ryan Scott a little bit. Ryan Scott giving it a bit of the theatrics there. I think it was always going off target. Good contact made from the strike.
Looked like he was trying to knuckle it.
Yeah.
One goal kick won by Dargenio. Gianchi getting a lot to do, and it's going to be a Preston ball. Ilyasevsky inviting Brandon Lawton forward to the exact spot where the ball went out. Didn't want to give up any distance. The referee's ordered him back anyway. Bozanovski. Aerial switch to Negro is cut out. Well, Preston haven't beaten Avondale for a long time. It's been 12 years. Haven't played too many times, of course. But well, Preston were in the doldrums, lowest point of their financial difficulties and relegations. Avondale were on the up through the state ranks. It was State League 2 at the time. June 29th, 2013, Preston got a win at home thanks to a solitary goal from Robert Nadovski. Avondale were promoted that season into then NPL 2, which was a newly formed division at the time. Let's check in on the temperature on the sideline with Nick Dabano. Nick, how are the tempers flaring down there?
Yeah, Josh, after that earlier challenge, Jonathan Germano and his coaching staff were asking for a please explain. I've got a lengthy explain as that after that initial challenge, and seems like things have simmered down just a little bit, but a bit of words there between obviously the official and the Avondale coaching staff to just get a bit of an understanding as to why that was given a yellow card in the end.
Bozanovski chasing it down. Cuba giving him a few headaches. Ball into Fornaroli, cushion for Abdallah, and Damian Bozanovski got there first. There's a clever layoff from Bruno. Hint of offside, and Jonas Markovski will be flagged.
Again there, Preston showing though a huge threat on that transitional moment. Whenever Avondale are sort of in those attacking moments, Romero getting on the ball is really, really key to those attacks happening for Preston. Just seen a little change. I don't know if Germano's been listening to us, but Abdallah sort of playing on that right-hand side now rather than the left-hand side in the last sort of 5 to 10 minutes also.
Meanwhile, Fornaroli hitting the deck. Half an hour played here at the Reggio Calabria Club, Avenger Park as it's known. Healthy crowd in attendance for a do-or-die game for Preston on match day 6. Avondale found out their opponents last night as Moreton City Excelsior drew 3-3. Strachewski running the channel. Still weaving and trying to find a gap, Strachewski. Hooked away by Schroen. Wellsmore. It's the quick step on Bell. Stops and props and waits for teammates in support. Carpenter. Picking out Abdallah. Abdallah in the duel with Negro. Marvelous skill and control, and he stabs it through the gap. Still it's alive here for the Avengers. Strachewski, Wellsmore to cross. Cianci at the back stick. Can't get direction on the header. Well held up by Fornaroli. Carpenter joining the attack and going for goal. And it's tipped around the near post by Ryan Scott.
Excellent bit of play there from Avondale. Really, really put pressure on Preston for good periods there. That's probably the best sort of period they've had within the game itself. It leads to obviously Carpenter getting that strike away and Ryan Scott comfortably at his near post, palming it around the corner. But real positive play for Avondale.
Yet another corner from this left-hand side. Matt Bozanovski gets there first and heads clear. He's the free defender on the edge of the 6-yard box. Well, wide for Tevere. And straight off Lawton for a throw. It's relentless pressure from the home side. Preston have had their moments in transition. Cianci shaking off Lawton. The cutback lacked purchase. Lawton for Trajewski. The 1-2 with Fornaroli, and he let the shot go. And was fouled on the follow-through there by Jason Romero. Avondale have a free kick in shooting range.
I think right decision. Don't know what the argument is there. He's took none of the ball. He's got his shot away, but there's plenty of contact there afterwards to suggest a foul.
Some of the games seem to, especially at NPL level, operate by sort of house rule, where once a player gets a shot away, you can do anything to them.
It's okay.
There's nothing in the rules about that. And Romero with the high arm on Christian Trajewski. He's actually made contact with his head there. Escapes further sanction.
Once again, though, just a little bit more better pressure from Avondale higher up the pitch, keeping Preston in that defensive third a little bit longer than what they've had to do throughout this game so far.
Well, their Keystone Cops free kick routine went viral last week. Avondale, let's see what they've cooked up here. Avondale sizing up their shooting chance. Abdullah and Cuba in conference. It's a long build-up. Four in the wall for Preston. And Scott bouncing on his haunches. It'll be Cuba. And it'll sail high and wide.
Disappointing in the end. We waited a long time for that one. There was a lot of chat about it, a lot of discussion.
I was expecting another trick routine, Scott, but instead it was a meat and potatoes go for goal from a dead ball, and Sion Cuba got it up but couldn't get it down. Picks off this goal kick though. Great tackle from Negro to make up for a bit of poor distribution from Scott. And now Kubalay is fouled. Quickly taken out to Sir Dennis. Sir Dennis dribbling into traffic and losing out to Carpenter. Fornaroli. Oh, magnificent from Fornaroli. And he wins the free kick. That is sheer class from the Uruguayan.
I don't actually know how he actually keeps the ball there and manages to stick it up. You know, initially I'm thinking it's a foul in the first instant anyway. You know, he's got his hands all over him. Like, again, sometimes I just think attackers within, well, at this level sometimes don't get protected enough at times, but
I think the referee had the whistle in his mouth and he's thinking, well, it's Bruno. He could still go on with this, and he did. You get knocked down, you get back up again. Nervy one from Negro. Had more time than he knew. Despite Ryan Scott's best efforts, Preston concede a corner.
what was really disappointing there was no takers for Avondale. Everyone just stood still after the ball had gone in and sort of given it up.
Visiting fans making their feelings known. And the Bronx cheer goes up as Carpenter's effort misses everybody in the middle. They get a second chance here as Tevere swings it in. Romero towards Bell, who made a nuisance of himself. Referee dodging out of the way. Romero did well to keep it. Negro can only stab it into space. Connor Bell's a chance here. Reed chasing him wide and winning the ball cleanly. In the opinion of the referee. Cuba. Now Preston need to get back in their defensive shape. As the counter-attack broke down, Cuba, Tevere took his time over it. Not too much time as it proved. Clumsy foul in the back of Jonas Markovski. Oh, and this could be an injury here for Christian Trajewski. Just fell awkwardly after the challenge. That's a worrying sign. The player goes down in that sort of distress.
I think he's rolled his ankle as he's come together. Made the foul. Seems to have went over his ankle. It looks a sore one.
He's in a lot of pain here.
His foot just gets caught underneath there, doesn't it?
Inadvertent from Jonas Markovski.
See it here better, just there.
It's almost like a basketball injury when they come
He
down
just
after
lands
a
on
shot.
his own.
Yeah.
Almost like he lands on his own in the back of the Achilles there.
Oh, it's a nasty one. Well, it'll be a real shame to see one of the Victorian game's most exciting talents rubbed out.
Yeah,
And they're calling for the substitution. No doubt on the physio's minds. So Yite Towns would be the obvious replacement.
just
Here
see
it
this,
is.
just see this again here. I think it's his trailing leg, his right knee. His first initial contact here with the player, that one there. Oh,
there it
yeah,
is.
we see it. And then even when he lands again, his right knee comes right on top of that ankle once again. Yeah, there's definitely some ligament damage there. Could be a few weeks.
Well, he's not able to get off the pitch under his own steam. Really upsetting moment for Christian Trajewski. And a disaster for Avondale, seeing their midfield maestro potentially ruled out for at least a quarter-final next week. We hope it's not as serious as it looks.
Well, if you're struggling to bear weight at this time, it doesn't look very good for the following week, Josh, off experience.
It's not going to be Yite Towns. It looks like it's young Paolo Guttoli who's going to get the nod. So Avondale not willing to risk another of their first choice midfielders after one's just gone down.
Not yet. Play.
Maybe Germano will be ruing not making more changes to his side in a game that doesn't really account for anything in terms of their progression to the quarterfinals or their ranking in the group.
And what it does show, though, is good integrity for the competition itself, though, for all the teams that are involved.
I guess he's a new head coach as well, with a lot of new players in his side. He wants to gel ahead of the knockout stages against the toughest teams in the comp. Using it as preparation as much as anything. There's a moment. Carpenter, he's got great vertical leap for his size. We saw that against Canberra, Croatia a couple of weeks ago when he won that header that led to Bruno Fornaroli's opening goal. And there's confirmation of the substitution. So on comes Paolo Guttoli.
Just going back to your initial question there of making more changes, because I think always, being a manager, a head coach myself, you're always in the fear of that 2-week gap having a real effect within what you're trying to build within your squad and that momentum that you are building, and certainly what Avondale have built in the last couple of weeks, that you don't want to make wholesale changes to that, to basically you're off at scratch again in the quarter-final. Just keeping that continuity and keeping, you know, the good things going.
We talk about Preston's walking wounded. Crawling towards the finish line in this group. Well, Avondale lost Aidan Bryce. Now they've lost Christian Trajewski. But Bruno Fornaroli has the goal in his sights. Fornaroli blocked by Damian Bozanovski. Tevere! Shot lacked purchase.
It's a great little pass in there from Tevere initially for Fornaroli, but the Preston back four do so well just to shut out shop on, in that sort of 16-yard area for Bruno Fornaroli not to get a shot away at goal. They've done that a few occasions today. Loughton getting round from that right back position as well and helping his centre back pairing in the Bozanovsky brothers.
Back to Lawton. Bozanovsky. Romero skips past one challenge, feeds it out wide for Sir Dennis. Sir Dennis to cross, and it misses everybody. Jason Romero, when he's got the ball, has been very bright.
Absolutely, he's been the most lively and most sort of potent sort of player for Preston, you have to say, to this point. Anytime that he's got on the ball in that midfield zone or final third, he looks to make things happen, and certainly putting them into that attacking zone to be a threat against that Avondale team.
Scoreless so far in the first half, but it's been a tense and absorbing affair. A raft of clear-cut chances, but it's felt as if a goal is never far away, Scott.
Yeah, look, both teams have had slight opportunities at certain times. See another transition moment for Avondale.
Tebere. Gianchi. It's going to be 6 minutes on the board in the first half. Plenty of time after those injury stoppages for either side to grab something. Gattoli, the young substitute, getting involved, just 18 years of age. Abdallah. Line for a corner off Stefan Negro. And the fans nearby didn't agree. See there, the 6th corner of the game for Avondale. They have peppered the Preston penalty area in this first half, and so far, this Preston back line has held firm. Abdallah. Kubalay, he got the header away there. Cuba gets his pocket picked by Lawton. The chase is on now for Connor Bell. Carpenter sliding in and winning the tackle.
Again, from an Avondale corner, Preston attacking very quickly, looking to try and get in behind in that transition. Certainly something for Avondale to keep an eye on as the game goes along. Got their own set piece moments that they have to be a little bit more alive and ready on the edge of that box to make sure that Preston can't get further forward.
Bit of hesitation with Matt Reid there, just waiting for Manos to come. Catching practice in the crowd. He was at the heart of that fiery finish in round 3. Preston came home with a wet sail, nearly won it through Jason Romero, who nicked the top of the crossbar and blazed over from 6 yards. Before Matt Reid was given his marching orders, a second yellow card for a cynical challenge that brought down Leighton Brooks on the edge of the box. Took one for the team, served his suspension, and he's back into the Avondale defence. Long-serving player and a real warrior. Bobbling around and eventually settling with Romero, who's hemmed in by 2 blue shirts. It's going to be an Avondale ball. Much to the... Or maybe it's been overruled, in fact.
He's changed his mind.
Well, after the reactions of the players, sometimes it tells you all you need to know. Maybe got a word in his ear from an assistant. Negro. Bell. To his left. And wins the corner. Deep into first half stoppage time.
It's a great opportunity this for Preston, with that physical presence coming up from the back line in the two Bozanovsky brothers.
We have to be this sort of situation Preston profits from. In position to outpossess Avondale. Romero straight on to Manos, who clears with the punch. And Morton had two arms on Fornaroli, but it's a good advantage paid by the referee. Tevere skipping clear. Cianci, Zach Cianci. Well saved by Scott, and there's going to be further punishment here.
And for the tuck back on Tevere.
And he's saying he's had enough. Repeat fouls.
Again, you see from one end to the other again, from corners, set plays. How many times do we see it? It's a manager's nightmare. You can't look down the opposition's edge of the box. Avondale went really, really quickly there up the other end. Another good save from Ryan Scott.
Well, it was a cynical foul from Kubalay, but probably one he needed to make because it prevented Cianci from having a square ball on into the middle. And the right decision from the referee, Declan Woods. Abdallah, one hand on it from Scott. Wellsmore, ambitious. He can hit them, as we saw in the Australia Cup a couple of years ago for Oakley against Sydney FC. Had trials with Auckland FC, their league side, before signing for Avondale in the off-season. Wellsmore. Abdallah. Schroen. Amir Abdallah again. He'll go for goal, but it's comfortable for Scott. He's been a busy man so far this afternoon, and you imagine that will continue.
Yeah, he's been a busy man, but not really troubled him too much, have they? It's been quite regulated in terms of his shots that he's had to save.
It's a high boot from Gattoli. Preston are claiming it should be similar punishment to what Matt Bozanovsky received. It's going to be an Avondale ball, in fact. Bit of confusion in the middle there. Well, it had to be a Preston ball. It was no infringement from Schroen.
Yep. Well, that was handball. Half time.
Well, he's called half time, the referee. Well, it looked like a handball against Blake Carpenter, but Preston won't be given the time to take the free kick. We were in added time on added time. Tempers flaring as we head to the rooms. Louis Yatsevsky having the final word. But at half-time between the Preston Lions and Avondale, just as it was in round 3, it is scoreless at Avenger Park. Stay with us on the other side of the break.
Bruno is really professional player and as a person. To be honest, I know him from outside. We used to be together in Melbourne City and we become friends in Australia, but he knows that there is different roles now. He's a player inside the change room and outside we're friends, but inside the change room he's a player and I'm the coach.
Obviously he's been a professional for quite a while now, so for him to be able to bring that into the trainings and be able to mentor some of the younger quality players that we've had, I think it'll be a good addition.
A lot of the players came to me and he said the way he humble, the way he is inside the change room and in the pitch, like really humble, really professional, and they've been learning a lot of things from him.
Welcome back to our halftime show here on Super Saturday. Bruno Fornaroli, 38 years young and leading this Avondale side. He's been bright in the first half, but it does remain scoreless so far, with Preston needing a win to be assured of progression to the quarterfinals. Josh Parrish here with Scott McDonald. And Scott, Preston have been hanging on for a lot of this game, sitting back behind the ball and just waiting for their moments.
Yeah, they've had some decent moments, you have to say, without really troubling Manos. You know, I think their shape's been excellent, very, very disciplined. As we see here, this was early on from Abdullah, just on the edge of the box. Gets a free one, they give it up. I think Schroen gives it up in the middle of the pitch, and you can't be giving people like Abdullah that sort of opportunity and chance. And this was probably the best chance for Preston. You have to say Romero with a nice little pass inside to Connor Bell, but Connor Bell just couldn't get there on the bounce there, just got away from him in the end. But yeah, they've had some decent moments like that, Preston, but not really managed to get anything on target or trouble them too much. And we see this nasty one, Josh, in the injury to Trajewski here.
He's such an important player for Avondale, one of the premier midfielders in Victoria, and he's just twisted his ankle underneath Markovski there. Totally accidental, freak accident really, but if they were to lose him for the knockout stages, it would be a killer blow.
That'd be a huge blow, because it means then that sort of Cuba then has to, you know, more or less play in that midfield zone like he has today, whereas you would probably want him and Abdullah and Fornaroli on the last line, playing in that front three in that quarterfinal. So there will be changes. It doesn't look good for Trajewski, you have to say.
Well, Avondale dominating the stat count, 11 shots to 2. Ryan Scott not really forced into too many outrageous saves like we've seen him pull off against Spirit away, including several great displays in NPL Victoria as well. But 7 corners to 2 tells the story of just how encamped Avondale have been around the Preston penalty area.
Yeah, I think you said in the commentary, they've dealt with it ever so well, Preston, and that physical presence and dominance that they have at the back as well has made them a little bit more comfortable with those set-piece plays. They've had a couple on the other end as well, just haven't really took many opportunities. And the crazy thing is, in the first half, majority of the chances actually came from corner kick plays for opposition and then in the transition moments for each of the opposition teams. So that's something that I think, particularly if you're Avondale, you need to be watching carefully in this second half as well, because that seems to be where Preston have had their best moments.
Well, let's look ahead to the second half of our doubleheader on Super Saturday, and it's Marconi against Wollongong Wolves. This one, for all the marbles in Group B, Wollongong would need a 6-0 victory or a victory by 6 goals to overturn that goal difference. So that looks a distant possibility. But for Marconi, if they win today, they go at least temporarily top of Group B, potentially avoiding a trip away to face Apia or a trip to Western Australia to face Bayswater City. So there's a big carrot for them. They'll have to keep Heidelberg honest when Heidelberg go to South Hobart tomorrow. Adrian Archuli is our man on the sideline at Collegians, and he caught up with Marconi captain Marko Jesic.
Well, I'm here with Marconi captain Marko Jesic. Marko, just can't lose by 6 goals today. It's simple for you guys. How do you approach this?
I think nothing changes for us. I think we're still going the same mindset, and like every other game, we stick to our game plan and we worry about ourselves. We don't worry about the opposition. And if we do what we do and we know we can do, then we'll can walk over the 3 points. So just stick to our thing and that should be right.
And how important is it not to go into the quarterfinals with a loss? Because it's obviously a 1% chance probably the Wolves do that today. But for you guys, you want to get the win and go in with confidence.
Of course. I think it's just like, we've been on a good roll ever since when we played Hobart, and we've been pretty successful winning, obviously, and then I'll have a draw against Heidelberg. So I think the momentum's key. But again, we've played in the past where we've come off a loss, and the following week we've come in with a big win. So it's the mindset. I think that's the key word for us this week, and obviously moving forward, mindset. If we're all switched on, then we should be all right.
Well, Marconi beat Wollongong earlier in the group stage. They hope a result today will see them through to the quarterfinals.
And An all New South Wales affair on the way. But first, the second half from Avenger Park. It's Avondale 0, Preston Lions 0 at the break. Stay with us on the other side. Preston, it's do or die for them on Super Saturday. Scoreless. It's been dramatic, though, at Avenger Park in the first half. Plenty of contentious calls this way and that. Plenty of big challenges flying in. Bruno Fornaroli doing his thing up top. So difficult to get the ball off. And Christian Trajewski going down with a serious-looking ankle injury. Plenty to talk about from the first 45 and all to play for in the second as Preston chase a quarterfinal spot against their old rival South Melbourne Hellas next week. Let's go down to the sideline and check in with Nick Tabano.
Thank you very much, Josh. Things are set up beautifully here for the second half at Avenger Park. Conditions have just clouded over a little bit in the last few minutes. A bit of wind coming through, but it's still fantastic underfoot after a little bit of rain early this morning. But now it's certainly cleared up and the conditions are looking great. Bit of a contentious end to that first half. We saw the Preston coaching staff not best pleased. They didn't have that free kick paid and they were asking for a please explain from the officials. But now heading to my right-hand side here, you can see some of the Preston fans have made their way to join some of that group that were already there to try and will them over the line. As we know, a point is not enough to get them through today to the quarterfinals. They need to get the job done with a win to lock their place in the quarterfinals. Anything other than that, and it's a very nervous 24 hours for them heading into next week. Back to you, Josh and Scott.
Thank you, Nick. We're all ready to go here for the second 45. Avondale on top on the stats sheet. But Scott, Preston with a chance to pinch something on the break, and 1-0 would do nicely for them.
Yeah, look, I think if you're being Preston coming out for the second half, you're quite pleased with how that first half's gone for you. Yes, you've not created a lot of chances, but you've minimised Avondale to shots and pops probably from distance, which has been the reason why Ryan Scott has been pretty comfortable to this point, you have to say. And if you're Avondale and you're Germano, you're sort of saying, let's try and keep the pressure on Preston a little bit more in that final third. Try and keep them locked in, as we've done on a couple of occasions where we look better and we look like we're going to score and create stuff from there. And when we get the opportunity to transition quickly, let's go quickly, because we've got the players to do that and go and hurt Preston. And as we've seen, that has been causing problems for Preston at certain times as well.
Big afternoon for Paolo Gattoli, as it's proven. The 18-year-old who's come on to replace the injured Christian Trajewski. The Victory Youth product, spent a lot of time with FC Bulleen Lions as well, and playing in the under-23s this season in the MPL for Avondale after joining last year. So precious little senior team experience for him. Connor Bell is a man with 100 Preston Lions games under his belt, and then some. He celebrated that milestone away at Lakeside Stadium earlier this season. And I'm sure he'd love another visit to Lakeside and another crack at South after they were defeated that afternoon. Ryan Scott and his backup goalkeeper, Lucas Trenkovski. Trenkovski, one of only 4 substitutes on the Preston bench, 3 of them outfield players. With so many injuries and illnesses in the Preston squad leading up to this game. See how that affects the final throws of this one as we're away for the second half. Preston kicking from right to left this time. Drawn twice with Avondale in their last 2 meetings. Went down 3-1 here. This is Abdullah. Straight into the attack, teeing up Cuba! Big save from Scott. And swept up by Connor Bell. Well, Preston fell asleep at the back in the first 30 seconds of the second half, and Avondale should have been in for 1-0.
Yeah, that young man there, Gattoli, got in really good position there. Played one in behind Loughton. Loughton just couldn't get enough on it.
This is Chianchi's ball in. And then sent high and wide off the boot of Amir Abdallah.
We've seen Abdallah move back to that left-hand side. Like I was saying, Gattoli try to play one in behind. And we see it goes all the way through here. And the through ball was a lovely weighted pass from Abdallah. Just right into his path. And if you see how Cuba, you're disappointed, actually, you don't score from there. But it is a wonderful save, you have to say, from Ryan Scott, who we've set up to this point, has been asked upon on a couple of occasions, but not really tested a lot within it, but certainly tested in that occasion.
Chaos at the back. Scott was trying to pounce on the loose ball. Connor Bell taking it away from his own goalkeeper there. You could be accused of a back pass if you touch it back.
It's one of them ones for Sian Cuba. When you're running onto that, you're in 2 minds which way you're going to go with it. Am I going to lace it or am I going to side foot it? Lacing it, yeah, gets you a bit more power, less accuracy. He chose to go with the side foot for more accuracy, but it just didn't have enough power on it probably to get past Ryan Scott.
First time pass, picks out Abdallah again. Amir Abdallah, driven low and too close to the body of Ryan Scott. There was a second ball on the pitch. Well, that would have been controversial if Abdallah had found the back of the net. Probably just as well for the officiating crew. Scott was up to the task.
I think the rulings on that would still, if the ball did go in the net, still count though. Regardless, Josh. Remember the old beach ball incident that with Sunderland all the years back
Yep,
against
Darren
Liverpool.
Bent, infamously so. Earlier in this very tournament, Sydney United were complaining about a second ball on the pitch when Bayswater City scored late with a looping effort at Adenza Park in round 1. Though their case probably slightly weakened by the fact that a Sydney United supporter threw the ball on the pitch in an effort to break up play. Gattoli. Oh, beautiful weight on the pass. Abdallah's in. Saved by Scott. And what a stop. Chianchi. Still on for Avondale. Chianchi to the near post. And it's turned behind. And Preston have their star goalkeeper to thank for keeping them in this game.
Well, he's come out the blocks, firing, hasn't he, Ryan Scott? Come out that changing room, ready to go for that second half, and he's had to be. Such a lively start. What a wonderful ball again from Gattoli. He's having some real, good prominence within this game. Just look at Abdallah here when the ball goes through. Can he take it round him? I'm expecting him to take it round him there. And even if he can't get the other side and potentially get a penalty, he tries to stab at it with his toe. You have to say that Ryan Scott does come out ever so quickly and well and spreads himself really, really well.
That's why he played so many games in the A-League. Gattoli. Oh, good ball from the young man. He's been very bright since his introduction. Lawton won it off Abdallah. Well, break for Preston. Osmore was the last man back there. He had to get that right. Gattoli with a cushion touch for Tevere. Carpenter's in, and Carpenter scores. And Avondale lead at home and put Preston on the brink.
Well, you have to say, Josh, it's been coming in this second half. It's been such a lively 4 minutes. We've only had 4 minutes of this second half, and there's been chance after chance for Avondale, and finally they've broken the deadlock. Carpenter's that man to do it, and you have to say it starts with Tevere, but some wonderful build-up play in tight situations there to get to that moment. It's a wonderful weighted through pass there, and he just gets there to what Abdallah couldn't do in the first instant against Ryan Scott. Carpenter comes up trumps and has managed to get there first. It's a brave effort from him as well. Great first touch, and manages to get his studs to the second one. And you can see what it means to that Avondale bench.
Ray Carpenter with his first goal in the Australian Championship. The left back is forward after taking that corner. Saw Jordan Lampard pull off a similar manoeuvre after staying forward from the set piece in round 1 against Sydney Olympic. And now Carpenter has joined the list of left fullbacks in this competition who've really impressed. Tatsu Kojima scoring for Morton City last night. We've got a real depth of talent in that position in this competition. It's a really tidy finish. Avondale starting the second half, as you say, Scott, like a house on fire. Preston had no answer.
I don't know what was said at half-time, but they've certainly come out firing, haven't they? That ball's been moving quickly.
And Preston move it through the lines. There's so much more to do now. Here's Preston side. There's Markovsky clipped. Declan Wood's not interested. Ball breaks for Abdallah, and now Cuba. Just moving the ball so fluently. You can see this sort of combination play at speed in the first 45. Oh, disguised cutback from Cuba, but it doesn't fall on Cuba. It's taken too long over it. Tevere closing down the gap. And Tevere, was it a cross, was it a shot? I'll let you make up your own mind at home.
It's been somewhat a bit of a problem for Preston throughout this game is when they get that chance to counter-attack, there's just not enough willing bodies or willing runners to go with the ball carrier. As you can see after they won it back, it's been a blowing 6 minutes, you have to say, for Preston, though. The way the game started in this second half, the pace of it, and certainly they haven't had a lot of the ball, but they just didn't have any willing runners there to go along with the ball carrier. And they're going to have that if they want to get back in this game.
Just to remind the viewers of the permutations involved, Preston could still go through with a narrow defeat if results fall their way. It's Tevere just to create a second. It's a terrible layoff from Fornaroli. First time we've said that today.
First time I think we've said it in the competition. Very unlucky to come off the heel there.
celebration. And a rare one from the Uruguayan. Oh, lovely touch from Lawton. Finding Markovski. And it's turned into the channel for Sir Dennis to chase, but he doesn't quite have the wheels to get there ahead of Dargenio. But if, and only if, this result holds and there's a draw between Spirit and Canberra Croatia, who are both a chance of going through tomorrow, will Preston qualify? If they suffer a heavier defeat by 3 goals or more, they are out of the competition regardless of what happens, because Spirit will have the superior goal difference. Strong was straight in to contest the drop ball. Manos. Carpenter playing with such confidence and verve at the moment, after some early struggles in this game against Giorgio Sir Dennis. He's run out of real estate there, perhaps tried to do too much.
I think controversially just before half-time as well. I think that's what all the commotion was about, that he handballed the ball. And Preston probably wanting a booking as well as the foul. He managed to get away with one earlier on in the piece in the first half, you have to say.
Yeah, the contact might have been slight on Sir Dennis, the shirt pull, but the intent was certainly there. And the foul was paid, so Preston were aggrieved by referee Declan Woods not showing the yellow ticket. Kubalay. Markovski playing in more of a number 10 role. Him and Jason Romero have both been swapping in and out of that position. And ball punted forwards to no one in particular. There's a few pointed shrugs in the direction of the Bozanowski brothers. Preston away supporters turning out in force, still hopeful of a comeback and progression for their threadbare side. Already underdogs in this matchup. It's first v 5th as far as NPL Victoria rankings are concerned. High foot shown by Lawton.
Cuba in the mix again. The bouncing ball. See here,
handball there, in fact. I think it was paid for the high boot, but could well have been paid for the fingertip on it. Scored the Preston Sealer away at Northwest Sydney Spirit. Their only win in the competition so far. Brandon Lawton. Kubalay. Bell. Kubalay. His heels clipped. Play goes on. Advantage paid. And then Bell can't find the feet of his centre forward. Avondale playing very confidently to start this second half, and they've been rewarded with the goal. Kubalay has to be careful. He's on a booking already. Tevere sends it wide. Amir Abdallah, the 2024 gold medalist in Victoria, sizes up the cross. Fornaroli's in the middle, and he's hit the side netting. Some of the home fans thought it was in.
Well, I think everyone thought that was in. As soon as that landed to Bruno Fornaroli, first thoughts are goal. But he is human, and he does miss them from time to time.
Tevere!
Chance.
Decent save by Scott. Tips it round the post.
That's an excellent save. They're very, very difficult, those chances, when they just bounce in front of the goalkeeper, make it very difficult for Ryan Scott to get a lot of hand on it. But he does so well once again for his team to get it round the post. But going back to that chance for Fornaroli, what a chance that was. Beautiful ball from Abdullah, as we've seen many a time. And yet, if he doesn't score today, he'll be kicking himself all night about that one.
Corner whipped in towards Reed, who was overzealous on Scott. And Ryan Scott has got a few choice words for Matt Reed. He came charging out of his box to make a point to the Avondale captain. Declan Woods pleading for calm. Reed will be called across for a talking to. There it is again. The altercation there is. Declan Woods getting in between them like a nightclub bouncer. And we're back underway.
That's the one thing I've not liked about so far in the Australian Championship. Too many of these situations where players, want to come out. Let the referee deal with it. We've seen it week in, week out, and it's something that probably needs to be stamped out a little bit by the officials within the game. It's not a good look for me. Get on with it. Is there any harm done? Let the referee deal with the situation, Ryan Scott. If he has gone led with his elbow, then go and speak to the referee, and the referee should be able to deal with that situation without causing, what potentially could be more than, 1v1 situation with these brawls. I love the passion, but let's get on with it.
Well said, Scotty. Push and shove match still going on. The Avondale ball. Carpenter into Fornaroli. Ball glued to his boot. It's the spin on Bozanovski, who was quickly drawing his arms away to avoid the concession of a spot kick.
Well, he had to there. He's just way too tight to Bruno Fornaroli. That's just not the position you want to be in as a centre-half, and you can't see the ball. He's that small and slight, but he's got his body over the ball. You can't see it, and as soon as he foot rolls you, you're in trouble.
Damien Bozanovski, as we said, in bed ill earlier in the week, and now he's marking Bruno Fornaroli. So, flicked header goalwards, and that's an excellent stop from Scott. Terrific reflex save for the Preston custodian. He continues to come to their rescue time and time and time again. Game will have to be stopped for a head injury to Connor Bell.
That looked a sore one. First issue there, but going back to this chance, I think it's Bruno Fornaroli gets the run on at that near post. Low diving header. Lovely glance, you have to say, but a wonderful strong left hand from Ryan Scott there. Going the wrong way.
Here's the angle. It's a superb header and an even better save. Top class all around from Fornaroli and Scott. Bell nurses a head knock. He'll have to go off after receiving treatment.
The last thing they need is Connor Bell coming off at this moment.
We've only got 3 options available on the bench. John Albano would be the obvious choice. I think he'll be okay to tough it out for a few minutes at least. Expecting to see Albano at some point. Sir Dennis saw chaos in the Avondale penalty area as there was a coming together on the right-hand side between Carpenter and Sir Dennis. Schroen unleashes, and it's well off the mark.
We've seen similar in the first half down that right flank with Sir Dennis whipping the ball in early into that 6-yard area. Just no takers for Preston, but a wonderful ball delivered. Seems to have caught one as he's crossed the ball there. He had Manos in quite a bit of trouble there. But Reed was there, managed to take it on the chest and clear his lines.
Just 3 shots, 1 on target for Preston so far. Manos. Really slick stuff out of the back from Avondale. Fornaroli. Schroen goes the back pass. Only one choice for Scott. Half a chance for Romero here. Carpenter thought he was fouled. Gattoli. If you didn't know he was 18 years old, you wouldn't guess it.
No, he's been fantastic. Really growing into the game. Got confidence early on in the second half here with lots of touches in that first 5 minutes. Played massive part, obviously, in the goal, setting up Carpenter. And he certainly has looked the part.
No nerves, slots right in. Standing up to the physical duels as well. We knew he was going to be technically tidy, having spent some time in the A-League Academy system, but it's that physical edge that teenagers breaking into the NPL or indeed Australian Championship ranks often come up against.
He's also moved positions there because he started off when he come on just before halftime as the number 10. Started the second half as a number 10, and he's gone into that number 6 role with now Kubran, Tevere playing a little bit higher and pressing Preston and giving them a little bit more problem to get out.
Over the top for Romero. Romero looking for Markovski! Preston a level out of nothing! They've barely had a sniff, and yet Jonas Markovski pops up with the goal that reignites Preston's championship campaign.
Well, like you said there, absolutely out of nothing. The changes work though with Romero playing as that 9, a little bit more speed, and then Jonas Markovski comes from a little bit deeper. But you have to say, what a wonderful ball from Romero. We talked about him earlier on as well, but look at the diving header. That's a wonderful angle of the finish as well. And Jonas Markovski doing what he does well. If he's inside that 6-yard box, getting his head to something. But you have to say as well on the other end, how thankful now are they of Ryan Scott and his supremacy in goal thus far today.
Avondale trying to respond off kickoff. Cuba, Abdallah. And he's going to be offside. Looking across the line, he probably shouldn't have been. Preston took it as quick as they could muster. Romero, end-to-end action at Avenger Park. Sir Dennis around the outside. It's Giorgio Sir Dennis. Can he pick out a teammate in the middle? Instead, it's turned behind for a corner. Well, how quickly the momentum shifts.
Absolutely, but what's Carpenter doing here down the touchline? We'll see the goal again here, just too far off him, Reed, you have to say, giving him time to face him up and play forward. You want him to play backwards there, but take nothing away from the ball. What a delivery that is from Romero. And Jonas Markovski says, thank you very much. And we'll tie up the game and have an interesting last 25 minutes here.
Markovski with his first goal in the Australian Championship. Scored 4 and 5 towards the back end of the season, but has rarely started in this competition. Spent a lot of time coming off the bench in the early part of his Preston career. Corner is an anticlimax. But just a bit of confidence and a pep in their step for Preston. Although they could still leave themselves open in the back at the back here for Fornaroli, and now Abdallah from the angle! Amir Abdallah has had chances aplenty to win this game for Avondale.
There's nothing wrong with the weighted pass from Bruno Fornaroli. It's excellently, placed in the air as we go at the other end now.
Preston go from back to front. So Dennis hitting the deck, assistant flagging, and Carpenter gives away the set piece.
I definitely think that's a foul. We're going back to that chance for Abdallah there. He has to hit the target. It's a great weighted pass. You see the replay here. He just needs to go low and hard across the goal and give Ryan Scott some difficulty there. You see here, absolutely a foul. He did try and go shoulder to shoulder. That's his argument there, but
So Dennis gets his body
he's
position
clever,
right.
Yep.
Oh, the Preston fans are up and about, but a draw won't do unless results fall their way. Northwest Sydney Spirit could still overtake them with a win away to Canberra, Croatia tomorrow. Suddenly, this is anyone's game. Marcus Schroen scored from this sort of position in the NPL season against Port Melbourne. Schroen! Manos equal to it. There's a painful collision at the near stick.
Took out Markowski at the same time, but he had to. It's a great punch. It's on target, it's going in, by all accounts. See this angle here.
Well, Markowski was just trying to get a flick on that, and he's collided with the post. If he makes proper contact with that, it really was a shot from Schroen. That's in. Of course, travelling at that sort of velocity, it's easier said than done, rather. And it's all happening. Hooked in by Schroen, it's going to be too far for Markowski to get there. He's come up with a big goal just when Preston needed him. I haven't seen too much of him this afternoon. A brilliant ball from Romero, a perfectly timed run, getting free of the Avondale defence. And a finish his old man would have been proud of.
It was a wonderful goal, come at the right time. Just after saying that, had Ryan Scott to thank so much to still being in the game at that moment.
So Dennis having his shirt pulled. Preston take it quickly. Sir Dennis, too much on the cross.
It's building up a great contest, that one there inside Dennis and Carpenter, isn't it? The second half.
I think the presence of the majority of the Preston away supporters is only heightening that one-on-one battle. They've got Sir Dennis's corner. Mietzewski nervously watches on in what could be his final game after a glorious 9 seasons in charge of this storied club. The other end of the spectrum, Jonathan Germano's coaching journey has only just begun in the Australian Championship.
They've tactically changed it again with Gattoli going back in that number 10. After they scored the goal, they changed it up and had Tevere and Cuba a little bit higher than him. They've changed it back now.
Bell. Markowski foul. Declan Wood says no. Well, certainly contact. I think the referee is alleging Markowski initiated said contact.
I think though you need to look where the ball ended up. You know, if Markowski has got that first touch and the ball's gone towards goal,
look at that one.
you know, it's for me, like, again, forward players not getting the benefit of the doubt.
Of course, easy for us to say with the benefit of the slow-mo replay. Reed. Preston are really going for it now, and there's going to be gaps at the back. They're going to need more magic from their star goalkeeper, Ryan Scott. Cuba, Fornaroli, Tevere. The 1-2 with Fornaroli. Tevere stabs it to Abdallah. Abdallah into Fornaroli, and they can't get a shot away. Second chance for the Avengers. Tevere. Scoop went straight to Schroen. Preston couldn't keep it. Maybe the second time of asking. They can get the counter-attack flowing forward. Deft dribble from Sir Dennis. Romero taking over. Kubalay. Oh, he was over-eager. That switch of play. Still no substitutions made by Preston. And their thin bench. Gian Albano waiting for his moment to enter the contest. Avondale just with the one enforced change for that injury to Christian Trajewski. Totally, the substitute, is really impressed. Damian Bozanovski for Sir Dennis. Lawton. Markovski runs the channel. Ball into the near post is well dealt with by Matt Reid. Good throw in taken for Sir Dennis. Carpenter will sweep it away from danger. And even Bruno Fornaroli could do nothing with that. So we'll have changes incoming for the Preston Lions. Let's check in on the sideline with Nick Debano. Nick, changes afoot.
Yeah, Dylan Jakupi on here for Zachary Cianci. A solid shift from Zachary Cianci. We've seen him come off the bench mostly in this competition, but now some experience on Dylan Jakupi. But it looks like as well Gian Albano coming on here for Preston, and he's someone who can pop up and score a big goal when needed. But it's amazing to see how the atmosphere has just changed after the equaliser from Jonas Markovski. It was very tense after our opener for Avondale, and it was starting to feel like the momentum was completely in their way. But things have just swung so quickly here, and those Preston fans that you mentioned, Josh, in that corner, they're really willing them over the line, and it's amazing to feel right down here at pitchside.
Thank you, Nick. Yes, those away supporters are, it's a cliche, but the 12th man for Preston each and every week. And they seem to have willed a corner into existence here too. Photographer's having to dodge out of the way of Marcus Schroen's run-up. He's having to move some of the gear out the way himself. Schroen to swing it in. Bozanovski. Never looked likely to trouble Manos.
It's the first time, though, we've seen Bozanovski on the end of something to this point. Always a threat for the pure size of him. Well defended in the end, just couldn't gain any power on that header whatsoever.
Scored 3 goals this season in the league, Matt Bozanovski. Sir Dennis. This was going to go against him this time. Duel with Carpenter. It's been a constant feature of this game.
It's been an excellent duel, hasn't it? Carpenter winning out on that occasion.
Every time it seems one of them is getting the upper hand, the other one comes up with a big moment. Schroen sprays it out to Sir Dennis again. He's offside this time. Tell from this angle. Looks like he's just strayed. Assistant on the far side all over it. Still concerned expressions on the Preston bench. The afternoon sunshine in Parkville. Markovski hurling himself to the ground and getting any change out of the referee. Jakupi. Jakupi's ball in. Gattoli. Ryan Scott had his angles covered. Again, the 18-year-olds heavily involved.
He managed to ghost in there, didn't he? It looked like it'd be dealt with the low cross itself, but he was first to it, first alive to it, and Ryan Scott to the rescue again, smothering and getting out quickly.
Looks like Dylan Jakupi is going to play an attacking role in the front three. Used to seeing him as a fullback. He's got electric pace. Player who's returned to the club after a spell away. Abdallah catching practice for Scott. Scott really looking for that quick restart, and he's found Markovski with the long throw. Katoli halts his progress. Tevere. Abdallah waiting for support. And he finds it in Carpenter. And Carpenter unleashes the strike! And the woodwork is still rattling. It's almost too much for the Avondale bench to handle.
Wow, two in one game for Carpenter, almost unheard of. But I'll tell you what, a wonderful strike. The ball just wouldn't sit for him either, and I'm thinking it's not right to hit, but did he connect well there?
Almost a worldie from Carpenter. It's hit the index of the intersection rather of post and bar.
There's just absolutely no chance for goalkeeper there.
If that goes in, you just have to stand back and applaud. Let's have another look. That Blake Carpenter missile.
So it just kept bouncing there.
Oh. It dipped so venomously. Brought one of the assistant coaches to his knees. Wellsmore. Tevere. Fornaroli. Bozanovsky in the way. And all the sting is taken out of the shot. So it winds up with Scott. What Preston got left in their legs. We're about to see John Albano into the fray. .24 shots for Avondale. And here is that change, and Giorgio Serdenis has put in a magnificent shift on the right. Finally, his time comes to an end. Albano will play off the left, Bell switching to the right flank.
He said there 24 shots on goal today from Avondale. They'll be kicking themselves that they've let Preston back into this game.
Bell could do nothing with that. Somehow Preston have hung around. Markovski couldn't get involved. He can now. Markovski feeding it wide to Albano. Ball trickles out for a corner. His first involvement. There's a beautiful cross from Romero that led to Preston's equaliser. Let's see what he can summon from this corner. Numbers assembling at the back post. Matt Bozanovsky, and then Bell, but the ball was already out.
Just feel every time that Preston do have a set piece, if it is in and around Bozanovsky, there is an opportunity there for Preston to capitalise.
Dennis, just in the corner of your picture there, limping towards the bench. Looks like he was battling through a bit of a knock after a physical afternoon, dueling with Blake Carpenter, the Avondale goal scorer. Schroen gets a foot to the ball. And that's played in Albano. And the flag stayed down. And Tom Manos with magnificent reflexes to deny the Preston substitute. It looked for all the world like John Albano had to be offside, but Now Gattoli trying to reply for the Avengers. And can't find Fornaroli in the middle. Let's see it again.
Manos doing what Ryan Scott doing up the other end was doing well. Coming off his line quick, adjusting himself to the first touch. And not giving Albano a chance to get that ball down, but a really good run.
It's a big chance for Preston. They haven't been clean through on goal very often today. Heavy touch from Lawton and it's punished. Carpenter galloping forward. Bell trying to stay with him and he blocks the cross.
It's a great run from Carpenter to continue his run, and a wonderful ball from Abdullah. And just as equally, Connor Bell doing his defensive duties ever so well as well. Getting the block in.
Preston's campaign hanging in the balance. Carpenter. Never had body position for that one. Well, we've spoken about his vertical leap already. He is an aerial threat despite his stature. Always full of energy, whether it's on the pitch or in the post-game celebrations. He's always on the mic leading the songs in the Avondale change room. Another change for Preston. It's Jason Romero who's come off. And on comes the 19-year-old Christian Ladenis, who's had a precious little football. Made his debut last week as a stoppage time substitute, but it's been called in for a more significant cameo today. Preston struggling with so many ill and injured. You would have crossed paths with him a little bit in your time in Queensland NPL, Scott.
I gave him his debut.
Yeah,
young man certainly has talent. Has an eye for goal, a hunger for it. Has had to go on a bit of a journey in the last couple of years.
He's represented the Royal Youth team as well as both Gold Coast clubs and a spell down in Victoria with Manningham. He signed in the window before the championship. Kubalay finding Albano, Bell in the middle, and it's reeled in by Manos. Great goalkeeping again.
You just think there when Albano gets that ball across, Manos does ever so well with a stretch in hand there to stop that ball going all the way through for Connor Bell for a tap in. You can see even in the action from Connor Bell there how close that really was.
Well, if Avondale do win today, it will have come at a cost. They've lost Christian Trycheski, and now Matt Reid looked like he was reaching for his hamstring. They lost Aiden Bryce to a similar injury last week.
Just see here again, comes through. Just too much on it in the end from Albano. Manos does so well though, once again, to save his team.
So Sian Cuba back, instructing Tom Manos. Some encouraging words to Matty Reid, who is going to come off here. He's relinquishing the armband. He's had so many injury problems in recent years. Hasn't been a consistent starter for Avondale due to a raft of problems that he's had. The young fans are up and about. They know their team is on their way to a quarter-final. It might be without Matt Reid and Aiden Bryce. So both of your central defenders going down with injury. Leaves the cupboard a little bare heading into the knockout rounds of the Australian Championship. Ite Towns is going to come on, and so is Jackson Nikovsky. So Towns replaces Reed. Not a like-for-like swap either. It might be that Ite Towns, a holding midfielder by trade, has to deputise in the heart of defence. Meanwhile, Damian Bozanovsky, who's soldiered on despite his illness earlier in the week, is going to come off and be replaced by Jackson Nikovsky. Looks like he's going straight up front.
They need the win. They'll throw everything at it in these last 5 to 10 minutes of the game.
Preston are going to sacrifice one in defence and roll the dice with a makeshift centre forward. Jackson Nikovsky is a central defender by trade. But he'll be a bit of tall timber up top for Preston to aim for. Abdallah. Fornaroli. Kubalay muscled to the ground. And draw doesn't do too much for Preston. They could still go through if Spirit draw or lose against Canberra, Croatia tomorrow. If Preston lose, it keeps Canberra, Croatia alive in the group. They could go through with a win. Negro. Wellsmore into touch. A tactical time wasting from Wellsmore. And a yellow card shown. Bozanovsky. It's desperation stations for the Preston Lions now. Heading quickly for their 4th draw of the group stage. They've been so close so many times. Bell throws a step over and hangs one into the box. Ite Towns, the substitute, has a free header away. Kubalay. Advantage paid by Declan Woods. Negro spots Bell on the right. It's a difficult aerial ball for Bell, and his first touch lets him down. 5 minutes up on the board for Preston to chase this game. What have they got left in the tank? This NPL season and then the championship campaign tacked on at the end has pushed some of these semi-professional teams to their limits physically. So the Avondale players going down with injuries. Preston, so many problems coming into the game. It's a battle of endurance as much as anything. Preston have just about hung around. Avondale are going to play keep ball. Manos forced to pump it long. Showen. Cushioned header. Doesn't give Mladenis much of an opportunity. Carpenter. Gave it away to Kubalay. But made up for it with the second challenge. And here goes Abdallah to polish it off for Avondale. Abdallah sent it wide to Tevere.
It's the wrong way in the end, wasn't it? Bruno Fornaroli peeling off on that right-hand side. It was there for him.
That's me. Abdallah has had ample opportunity. Could have pulled the trigger, could have squared it. Instead, too much on it for Tevere. Bozanovsky with time. Bozanovsky to clear. Only as far as Sion Cuba. Gattoli. Gave it up for Nikovsky. Nikovsky keeps the momentum going forwards. Mladenis has to turn on the afterburners. You can see Connor Bell just pull up short, wanting the ball to feet. And frustration's really growing now for the Lions. Got a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old centre-back in the forward line to finish this game. Really, if Preston do go out, it'll be not their performances against Avondale that have cost them, but their failures to beat the likes of Canberra, Croatia across 2 games.
Yeah, they'll look back at those 2 games and be the ones that they'll kick themselves for if they don't get through. Albeit, let's not discredit anything that Canberra, Croatia have done, because it's put them in a position now leading into tomorrow where if they do get a win, potentially still could get through.
Mladenis, good use of the body. Mladenis swings it in. Wellsmore, and then Jakupi into touch. A nervy finish at Avenger Park. Negro signalling for the long throw. Nikovsky to flick it on. Kubalay, magnificent tackle. Negro, Stefan Negro. Straight to the goalkeeper.
Just wasn't enough on it in the end to trouble Manos.
Need to open up his body a bit more there. But as a makeshift left fullback, not really his bread and butter. Jakupi, Preston leaving wide open gaps at the back. Abdullah attacking it. That's a cross goal and nobody there to finish. Awkward bounce for Bell. Has that come off an arm or off his face? The Englishman's done brilliantly. And then, curse the commentator, straight into touch. He's running on empty at the moment, you can see. Schroen. Oh, deft touch from Marcus Schroen. And showed too much of it to Carpenter. The Energizer Bunny at left back. There was no way past. Abdullah. Fornaroli. Off Negro and behind for a corner. And there is full time at Avenger Park. There'll be no time for Avondale to take it, as it did in the first meeting between these 2 teams. Finishes all square. Both of them have given everything today. Avondale, despite being already qualified, have left it all out there and copped 2 injuries for their trouble. Preston equalised through Jonas Markovsky and chased the game with all they had left. But with only 3 outfield substitutes on the bench, they didn't have enough to topple the Avengers on their own patch. So it's going to be a nervy watch tomorrow as Northwest Sydney Spirit take on Canberra, Croatia. Canberra would need a heavy win to overhaul Preston's goal difference. But if Northwest Sydney Spirit do drop points, Preston could still be through. The final score at the Reggio Calabria Club is Avondale 1, Preston Lions 1. Well, Scott, Preston turned it into a really stretched game at the end there, but it just felt they had too little left in the tank and too little on the bench.
Look, it was an entertaining game from start to finish. Second half really turned on, didn't it? Particularly the first 5 to 10 minutes of that game where Avondale could have been clear after they get the goal ahead. Ryan Scott keeps them in the game just with some superb saves. And then they go up the other end on a direct play. Romero with a wonderful ball in for Markovsky to make it 1-1. And from there, the tails are up. And the game goes from end to end, and which was a really good, entertaining end to the match. Both teams potentially had opportunities. More Avondale will be kicking themselves, I would say. But in the end, 1-1, and Preston have to wait till tomorrow.
Let's go down to the sideline. Nick Dabano is with Jonas Markovsky.
Thanks, Josh. I'm here now with Jonas Markovsky from Preston. Jonas, commiserations. I mean, it's still a point, but a nervous wait heading into the next 24 hours to see if you're through to the quarters.
Yeah, they're a tough team. Avondale, props to them. They had a couple of outs as well as us, but put up a good fight. I guess we just got to look forward to tomorrow and hopefully the results go our way.
Take us through that second 45. They really jumped you out of the gate. They got that early goal and you guys were able to wrestle back the momentum. You were able to get that all-important equaliser. But really, a second half of really two halves out there.
Yeah, look, I think it was a lot of back and forths. I ran out of legs myself, but yeah, we just fell asleep the first 5 minutes, as simple as that. And they were on top of us. Their attackers are lethal and they did what they do well. And Bruno got his goal. And yeah, and then, I don't know, we just busted the work up after that and showed a bit of resilience, how much we want it. The fans got round us and I guess I found the back of the net and yeah, it's pretty much that was pretty much the half, yeah.
It's been a group stage of really almost for Preston, a lot of draws, a lot of tight games, but still a chance to get through. I guess, how do you reflect on these 6 games for you guys?
Look, there's no excuses. We need results. We expect results. They haven't gone our way. That's on us at the end of the day. We got to reflect, and the beautiful thing about hindsight is you can't go back. You know what I mean? So you look back and you think what you could do better. For me personally, I would like to get more minutes, but it hasn't worked that way this tournament. But hopefully we get through next week and I can prove myself again.
Jonas, thank you very much.
Thank you. Jonas Markovski with Nick Tabano. Well, it's a tense wait for the Preston Lions as we look at the Group C table. Let's see the numbers now. Preston still in second on the live ladder, but if Spirit win tomorrow, it's Northwest Sydney Spirit who are through at Preston's expense. Canberra Croatia still mathematically alive, but would need a mammoth win to overhaul Preston's goal difference. So, in truth, they are playing for pride, and Preston are hoping Canberra do them a favour.
Yeah, absolutely. They haven't done them a favour in this competition to this point, though, have they? As we touched on, the 2 results against Preston up to this point, but they will be watching, the next 24 hours nervously and hoping that they can get through and we have a massive, massive game on our hands potentially, in playing South Melbourne, one of their biggest rivals.
Well, Spirit will be hoping to upset the Victorian apple cart there, but let's look ahead to the second match of our doubleheader on Super Saturday. And similarly to Canberra, Wollongong need a goal difference miracle today, but for Marconi, it's a chance to keep Heidelberg honest tomorrow when they head to South Hobart, because if South Hobart if Heidelberg are short of top spot, they can rotate everybody, whereas Marconi could pinch top spot on the live ladder.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Marconi have impressed me to this point, up front, Sakinis and Jesic, that combination, they've been excellent to this point. And look, they really put Wollongong Wolves to the sword the last time out, so this is a huge challenge. Obviously off the back of a good result for Wollongong Wolves against Heidelberg as well, so they'll be confident and they'll want to finish this competition on a high regardless if they go through or not. I think that'll be the message from Luke Wiltshire as well to get the ball down and try and dominate this game. But it's all to play for in this game. I'm really looking forward to it. Both teams have got an attacking array, so let's see a good game.
Well, yes, we saw the best of Wollongong last week. Desperately unlucky against Heidelberg away from home, but let's hope they put on a show in front of their own fans at Collegians. The second game is on the other side of this break. Let's see you then.